Hello, YouTube. You are listening to Podcast Response 1 for InfoSec. The source material is taken from TwitTV's Security Now, episode 545, titled 3 Dumb Routers. The three topics I will be briefly discussing today are a Java plugin update, a Google Nexus vulnerability, and an IoT device configuration that helps keep the devices safe from malicious attacks. The first topic is Java. Oracle has recently announced that it will be phasing out the use of Java web-based plugins from modern browsers. Google Chrome was the first browser to remove Java access, which means Java-enabled content is blocked in Chrome. There are ways around it, but it simply isn't safe anymore. There are browsers, though, like Firefox, that still allow Java plugins to run. Java is a very powerful coding language and has been around for a long time. It is widely used in millions of devices, but it's vulnerable to many different kinds of malicious attacks. The phasing out of plugins will hopefully mean a slightly safer internet in the future. Oracle plans to transition to a program they've had for some time now, the plugin-free Java WebStart technology. This technology runs locally on the machine, contacts the Java servers and updates automatically, and doesn't run in the browser anymore. Steve Gibson said in the podcast that he hasn't researched this thoroughly, but he hopes that the same issues that plagued the web version of Java don't transfer to the Java WebStart platform. The second topic is Google Nexus, which runs the Android OS. Users should be aware of a vulnerability where an attacker can remotely execute code via a flaw in the Broadcom Wi-Fi driver. The exploit is accessed via the way the driver interacts with the system kernel, which corrupts the kernel and allows external data to be forced onto the system. The catch with this attack is that it can only occur if the attacker and the target are both on the same network. Google has since released a patch that has fixed this exploit, so if you haven't updated Android in a while, it would be very wise to do so. The third and final topic is the 3 dumb router configuration that safeguards your IoT devices. The first router you want to have installed is the root router. This is your default gateway that interacts with the outside world. This is the router that will perform the primary NAT, or network address translation, taking everything from your personal network and translating it to a public IP address that's routable over the internet. The second router that you want to have installed branches off of that root router and will be considered the home network router, which you can connect to for Wi-Fi access and other things of that nature. The third router you want to have installed will also branch off of the root router, but this is going to be your super secure IoT device router. So the way that this system works is that each of the networks is behind its own router. So you've got 3 routers, 3 networks. This is based on the principle of NAT, network address translation. So network address translation takes a private IP address and makes it a usable public IP address, which can be routed over the internet via IP. So NAT naturally blocks Ethernet and routes IP traffic. So these routers can send data out, but they block ARP requests, which is a signal saying, hey, who has this IP address? Who has this IP address? And then it expects a response. But because each of these devices are on their own separate network, none of the devices on these separate networks can see or communicate with each other, thus eliminating any vulnerabilities that those IoT devices might have. So if you're on your home Wi-Fi network and you're just browsing the internet, you will not be able to physically access your IoT devices. You'll need to jump onto the router that your IoT devices are on so that you can configure them. This is a great setup. If you do have IoT devices, I personally recommend doing it. I only have a 2 router setup in my home because I do not have any IoT devices. I connect to the second router that I have, which blocks any ARP requests from my initial router so that I have a safe and better browsing experience. Thanks for listening. Hope you learned something today, and we'll look forward to seeing you again for episode 2.